Welcome to The Garage, an NBA live show presented by N.B.H Network. I go by Mike, and with me today is...
N.B.H, Daniel Doom.
And we're back again. We recorded something. I promise it was one of the best podcasts you would have ever heard yesterday. I messed up and it was on me. It's on producer. But we're back next day to talk some hoops. We'll talk about Kings Warriors, game that just finished up recently. And go from there and just talk about the NBA and how the first week or so of basketball has been in the league. But let's start with Warriors Kings. A lot of Warriors Kings early. I feel like they were talking about that on the broadcast. A lot of preseason games, two games within the first week essentially of the season. They're playing each other a lot, and the play-in tournament hasn't even started yet, and they're going to play twice in there. So we're going to get through our Kings games really quick. But interesting game, weird game. Any just initial thoughts before we jump into it?
I was going to try to get the rundown from this one on y'all. I just watched Klay Thompson's interview after the game, and it was pretty funny. And I know Fox was out, so it feels like it was a trap game. I think I heard them say that before. Like, it's a trap game to no De'Aaron. So I'm interested to see how this one actually went, how it came down to a Klay game winner from y'all.
Especially trap game, especially with the schedule, right? It's a home game, but it's that weird thing where it's a home game in between two road games, in between kind of two long road trips. So it's a home game, but it's a road game you're playing at your home arena.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you brought up a good point. Klay Thompson, game winner. Probably we should start with this. It was good to see, man. I feel like I've seen Klay miss this shot so much since he's been back. Like, have opportunity to hit a big shot late in the game to either kind of win, or he just missed it a couple of times. So it was good to see him knock it down. And like you said, good post game interview. It was good. He seemed excited. It's good to see Klay. I felt like he had that moment a few weeks into his first when he first got back, when he started to really hit. I think you could tell the excitement of just him kind of getting back to what he feels like he should be consistently. And I think this was another moment for him where it's like, yeah, I'm still Klay Thompson. I can still do this. I'm still one of the best shooters in the league. But interesting game overall.
He only shot 4 threes. Klay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Interesting game overall. I want to see. I think my biggest question this many games to the season, especially for a team that's 4-1 playing great basketball, is I just kind of want to see how the Draymond and Chris Paul on the court at the same time thing, and I guess it's more specifically Draymond, Chris Paul, and Looney, just how that all is going to go together. And it's honestly not even as much about Chris. Chris struggled to make shots today. I think he didn't get his first made shot until pretty late in the game, or sometime in the fourth. The ball has to go into the basket, I guess. This is the second time they've scored under 105 points this season, and I feel like that was atypical even of bad nights for the Warriors for a long time now. So I'm interested to see how the offense kind of meshes.
Yeah.
Now that the full squad's kind of in the mix, but overall pulled out a good win. Any thoughts that you kind of checking in and out of this one?
Yeah, I don't know. Chris Paul and Draymond thing. I mean, I guess today was okay. Draymond had 9 assists. Chris Paul had 8. It just, how much do they actually need to play together?
Yeah.
Did they? How much did they play together today? Actually.
Let's see if we can math it out to at least. Let me see. 27 minutes. Chris Paul played 28. So that's an overlap of at least about 7 minutes, so probably at least 7, probably closer to 10, 12, 13 minutes that they probably played together.
2 stints?
Yeah. Probably 2 stints being out. That's a minimum. It could have been more than that. So, yeah, I mean, they're playing together a significant chunk of the game, no matter what, because they're both, I mean, Chris Paul's been, we'll see how long it lasts, but Chris Paul's been like a 28 to 32 minute a night guy pretty much all year so far, so they're going to play a lot of time together. They're going to play at least some chunks of time together. And it's gonna be interesting because it is like, they do the same thing. They do it in very different ways, but they both kind of are providing the same thing. And I think if Chris
can't create for one another, really, it's like they're both creators. They can't create. They're not. Neither of those guys are play finishers on a night-to-night basis at all.
I don't know how dynamic the Chris Paul, Draymond Green pick and roll can be.
Just have
everybody else is just staying attached, and if somebody like Looney's out there to put an extra man around the rim. So it's again they're 4-1. It's probably fine. That was probably just again second time they've scored a low number of points that I'm not used to them seeing. Somebody was saying Chris Paul just slowed down the pace a lot more than you like to see this team play a lot of the time. So yeah, we'll see. Interesting. There's nothing to really be worried about, but interesting that they played this one close with no De'Aaron and struggled offensively. Good to see them. My bad.
Draymond 2 early threes too.
He made 2?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they did say that. Yeah, I'd say locked in the win early. He made 2 threes. Hey, shouldn't lose.
I think that's what's making me nervous, right? Is that it's like Draymond Green's kind of, I mean, he's looked good since he's been back. I feel like just like he looks spry. I feel like I've appreciated it for the last even couple years with him. Like he's done kind of being anxious about shooting. Like he was kind of in that space where the Lonzos and the Rondos were, where it was like I'm kind of scared to shoot around the rim. Now it's like he's missing them, but he's being the level of aggressive he needs to be just for the offense to work generally. And it was like he did today, like 2 for 4 from 3. So it ended up being what from 2, and I'm shooting a pretty decent one from 2. Had a good game, 13 and 9. But the -5 is interesting. Starters haven't been great. That's the other weird part about this season so far. Wiggins is starting to find his own, so hopefully that helps it out.
Yeah, Wiggins finally had a decent game today.
Say that, you only have 2 points in the second half.
Yeah.
I saw 12 at halftime.
Wiggins roller coaster. Feel like either you're gonna feel like he's not there, even from game to game. Feel like he's not there. You can feel like he's like the second best player on the team when he's locked in. So, like we've been leaning the other direction towards where's Wiggins at? You know, but cause he I feel like probably does a lot for the starting lineup or the functionality of it. Especially I feel like just the Looney Draymond lineups just need shooting or just need shooting at all the other positions. So Wiggins isn't locked in. Man. You feel it.
I like the Dario and Chris Paul. I like them together. That's
that's what I was gonna say. I think the positive, right, is as much as the main 6 maybe hasn't quite found the meshing yet. Like, Chris has been good with the bench, and the bench itself has just been like really good this year, right? Kind of like we're saying, we look at even a game like tonight, where it's like they continue to be solid in the minutes they play. I guess in a way that's been really helpful. Looks like Kuminga kind of got loose a little bit today. I think that's it's been interesting. It's been a weird thing to watch, right? Because we're so used to watching Steph minutes carry the team, try to survive the non-Steph minutes, and a lot of the season has been like Steph's been good, but the starters in general, like even I would say the core 6, if you want to call them that, like haven't necessarily been great at all times when they've been out there. But it's been like the bench picking up bad Steph, not even bad Steph play, but bad Steph minutes, I guess, if you want to say, just as a team, which has been encouraging. I think I was telling you, just it's cool. I was telling somebody, it's good to see them win a game where Steph doesn't play well. I don't think that happened yet this year. Steph had the one bad game in
Houston.
Oh no, I guess twice. I guess against a good team. I guess against a real no offense to Houston, but like against a playoff level opponent. It's good to see that because again, just something you weren't seeing much of last season.
Yeah, at all. That's the flip. We're heavily reliant on the starting lineup and just the core, the core 3. But even just the starting 5 the last couple of seasons, and I think this year feels more. I mean, also like the beginning of the championship year, it kind of feels a little bit more along the lines of, we have 9, we have 10, like we can go 9, 10, 11 deep and feel comfortable about who we have on the bench, and haven't felt like that since even that year that we won the championship. It didn't even feel that way past like the beginning of the season, I guess. Like we haven't felt, I guess, that feeling of depth in a while. It feels like because that year we were dealing with injuries and all the way up until into the first round of the playoffs.
The worst felt so far removed from that 20-2 start until the playoffs because it just happened to all come together, right? Like Porter in and out, Bielitsa, not even in and out, but just his game kind of went in and out. But like it all came together, like it came together at the finish that year.
And Klay came back.
But like you said, it feels like there's more depth even this time around. I mean, in fact, I feel like you had no Kuminga, no Klay even on Monday, right? The game they played on Monday. And I feel like just being able to slide 2 rookies into like some spot minutes for them to be decent enough that doesn't seem like it fazed them much. It fazed them much at all. So, any other thoughts? Any other Warriors thoughts? As we're wrapping up, any Kings thoughts? Interesting. I think I played well without De'Aaron, which
I ain't gonna lie. We kind of got a good win, but there was no De'Aaron out there, and they didn't even look good.
Yeah, like Murray struggled. I feel like most of the night.
Sabonis almost had a triple double.
Did Malik Monk? What did Malik Monk do?
15. I feel like I saw him. He won that combination. He had a good night. But it wasn't like just a low scoring game from 2 teams. Typically not low scoring. It wasn't like this incredible performance, but it's good to see a team gut out wins when it gets ugly. Any other thoughts on either of the teams before we open it up? I watched a good chunk of Detroit OKC, and I have thoughts on both teams. I'm going to jump into that. Let's any other Warriors Kings thoughts?
I'll say because I watched the Klay interviews. The most thing I saw, and it was funny. The last thing I'll say is Klay. I feel like the last question of the interview was the reporter said that Draymond loves the chemistry and the morale and coming to work this year compared to last year. And I didn't hear Draymond answer that, but I heard the reporter say this before asking Klay, what's the difference for you between last year and this year and the chemistry and the coming to work? And Klay's answer was just hilarious because it's just, he smirks before the question's even over, and then he's like, you show up to work, play defense, shoot basketball. It's like, this is the best job in the world. Like I'm always. It's always a good locker room for me. I was just like, it's night and day of just Draymond started last season punching his teammate. Like no matter how bad it seemed like things got for Klay last year, like on the court stuff, it was just like, he's having fun and he's getting along with so you kind of can't tell him nothing and like not in the negative. Bringing the locker room any negativity. I guess Klay's always going to be doing the positive, or is going to be kind of having. Klay's always going to be Klay, I guess, as simple as to say. Just showing up to shoot, showing up to play some defense.
Draymond's quote for that question was hilarious. Draymond's quote to that question was hilarious. Or if he got the same question, a similar question.
Yeah,
He went in about how it was just last year's. It was that unaware thing where he's just going in about how bad last year sucks and how good it is, like not acknowledging that you're the reason it was bad last year type shit.
The very first thing that happened last year was locker room trauma via Draymond Green.
But his response was hilarious. But yeah, again, it's good to see Klay. Klay's feeling good, man. He wants to say that last year got a little weird.
I was say it was funny to hear him say because it felt like he was smiling and smirking at just being able to have a different answer than Draymond, or like knowing Draymond's answer is kind of weird, but also it was like Klay, like you was not like last November and December. It did not seem like you was having any fun like at all. And I don't know what the locker room was like for him then, but maybe that's exactly why. It's like Klay is at the end of the day, I feel like Klay is always. He's a very simple guy. It just kind of comes back to, compete for championships and play with the best players in the world. It's always going to come back to that. What did Draymond say?
Last year, we had an awful team as far as chemistry goes. Last year was horseshit. Had to come to work, not fun. Hard to come to work, not fun. This year, you see the joy on guys' face when they come into the building. This is a group that likes being together. Which, again, is not anything that's untrue. It's just hilarious that you can say that with a straight face, I guess. Without at least an acknowledgement of, like, why was chemistry bad last year? So bad last year, Draymond. But that's the Warriors, and that's those three dudes, man. They're always going to give you something different. Anything else?
Steve Kerr tells Curry to make sure that he takes days off because he works too hard. So during the offseason, he says that you have to have days where you only play golf and have dinner with your family. It's only 2 things you're allowed to do 2 days a week. Steve Kerr really getting into this hippie coaching. I was like, oh man, that's why I mess with Steve. I was like, he's like, I know these are the things that Steph Curry that are good for him, no matter what. It's like these are the 2 things that are good for Steph Curry. I was like, back when I played, coach telling me to bring my golf clubs on the road trip, that never happened. Kerr got his little zen stuff down to a science. So like he less crazy than Phil too.
I wonder if that's true.
Phil a wild boy. I feel like Phil worked better in the 90s.
Steve Kerr's a wild one too. He got a little more. He got
politically correct.
Yeah. When he's on camera, yeah. I wonder what Kerr's like behind the scenes.
It's true. That didn't get that one. There was Phil Jackson.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
All right, my bad. Where we at now?
Where are we at? There's no other Warriors thoughts. I just wanted to say Pistons are going to be really good. They're not good yet. They're going to be solid though. And it was good to see.
What happened?
OKC win?
The funny part is they lost. They
lost
to the Blazers. I think that might have been the Blazers' first win.
Oh,
also felt bad. The school was having a good game, decent game, but also he got hurt, and I feel like that contributed to them winning the game. Hopefully, it's not a too long thing. But yeah, some nice moments early. But yeah, man, these dudes are going to be good. Just I guess my reaction was just Cade. I haven't got to see just because Cade hasn't played a lot. I haven't got to really sit down and watch a lot of Cade. Yeah. I feel like today was the first day, like whole half of basketball, just kind of locked in on. This dude's really fucking good, man. Just like he's going to be one of the guys like. And this is definitely recency bias because this other guy's had a much worse start, like just to this season in particular. But like his stock is above Paolo's to me, like right this second. Again, Paolo's like really struggled this year so far. But Cade this dude's another level, man, because the jumper's really there, I guess, and that's a big part of it. And he just like the way he controls like the game and like he's doing this all with no space. Like there's just not any shooting in their starting lineup. Like besides, I think Beef Stew might be like the damn near second best shooter in their starting lineup. I don't know if Killian Hayes hits threes. Didn't hit anything today, so that's I don't know how much.
Killian Hayes about to have like the craziest 18-year NBA career. He's about to just never go away. Watch.
I can see it.
But Cade, I'll say the Cade Paolo thing. I like that. Or say maybe recency bias, but I do just I think the ceiling with Cade is just more interesting, and with Paolo, I feel like I guess it's talk a lot about the best American player in the world, or where we're going with that in the future. But I think I don't see Paolo really being like Jason Tatum level ever, but I see Cade as like Cade has the potential to be his ceiling can be higher than a Jason Tatum, whereas it's like. Paolo, I feel like the best case scenario is probably going to fall a little bit short of. At best case scenario, probably falls a little short to what all the things that Jason Tatum can bring to a team. But Cade seems really interesting. I feel like as far as just where the American talent is going, and probably 6'8" point guard is crazy. It's crazy.
And then the other piece, unless any Cade thoughts, just
I gotta watch them play.
Yeah, I know. I will say just anybody like they're a team that's worth watching if you like hoop. I feel like just the way that because it's Monty Williams. Monty Williams gotten pretty good at just going to put people in space and just run like two-man actions and kind of ISO actions. So they it gets boxed up because of not great shooting. But I don't know. They remind me of a team. I don't know. They remind me of teams I like to watch play. And just like the collection of players, I guess, really. Because the other guy I wanted to talk about was Thompson. This dude's motor is insane. Like he's kind of one of those guys that doesn't make sense. Like. Or I guess he's one of those guys you watch and then you kind of get for like, why don't all the players in the league kind of go this hard after the ball like all the time kind of type thing? You know, you watch that guy, it's like just like he kind of got. No, we play with guys like that too. And it's just like like how do you? I think it's always cool to see in a non-big man too, just kind of that nose for the ball and how that kind of manifests. And it's just this dude's motor is insane. He's a really good passer. He's a good passer already. I think he can be a decent finisher. If he finds a jumper, he's going to be.
What year is he in?
These are Thompson
twins.
Oh,
which one is this? I didn't get this right.
This is the first pick. This is the higher pick.
What's the name?
Asur's
in Detroit.
Wait, is he the higher pick? Yeah, he's a higher pick, right?
I don't remember who's the higher pick now. Wait, I just need to get the names right. I just need to get the names. Asur's in Detroit though.
Asur's in Detroit.
Amen.
I'm in. I don't know how they say it actually. I would assume Amen.
Amir Ahmed Khan.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that.
Amir and Ahmed, humongous entertainment.
Brandon Miller's had a pretty decent start too. I will say real quick. Ahmed went first. Okay, that's crazy.
I thought Houston would pick first.
Yeah, that's wild. That the one that went later in the draft is the one that's starting. Because I don't think Ahmed started.
Curious about that, but they got the whole. Yeah, they're really interesting. Yeah.
They got a dub today, though. Actually, I didn't check this. I'm interested.
FVV.
Really worried about LaMelo, y'all.
Hey, spend enough time in Charlotte. Career just gonna be a career in Charlotte.
This is such an interesting team. I don't know what's gonna come together. What hell's gonna come together? I want him to play more though, because his brother looks fucking amazing, and he's supposed to be the better one. And
Yeah.
they have I don't know. I just want to see. I want to see him unlocked a little bit. Sor's been crazy to watch. Just his energy and his motor, type shit. Jalen.
Boy.
Any other general thoughts? Any other thoughts on either of those teams? Thought we can pull up standings and kind of see where we're sitting with the NBA.
Well, say we didn't get the most of the last time. Hey, we talk about talk about this. James Harden in LA. He didn't play tonight. They win tonight?
Nope. Oh, lost in overtime.
To the Lakers?
Yeah.
I say, y'all see any of that? Or
After the Warriors game ended, it was about 5 minutes left in the fourth. So I kind of catch most of that while I was setting up. Setting up for this. So they're good. They look good. I mean, that's the thing that probably is the most interesting part of this is Russ has been playing really well. This was their fourth game. 4 games in, Russ played really well in general. He played pretty well tonight too. He got 24 tonight.
Real Russell Westbrook game.
He averaging 11, 7, and 7 going into the night. Just kind of staying. So that's the lowest. I think it's his lowest usage rate, 17% usage rate. He's below league average usage rate, which is kind of a wild thing to think about with Russ. But he's kind of been doing this thing, his 3-ball been falling. But I do want to. I don't know what happens because he probably, with Harden coming in, if he starts still, it just gets a little weird.
Bruh.
And how do you tell him to come off the bench when he finally accepted the role that niggas been needing him to accept? I guess.
I'm a Westbrook fan now.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
know.
He's really won me over.
Nah, I can't. You can't.
what are they going right now? Russ PG Kawhi or Russ?
Russ PG, let's check to that. Russ PG Kawhi is the start.
He played 44 minutes. He's still crazy.
Oh,
No, he's on. That's the thing. It's crazy thing. I think I said it yesterday, but they're going to be relying on the old dudes because they're the ones that are reliable, actually.
it's happening simultaneously. We need it just after talking about Amen and Asar. Just Russell Westbrook just playing this role. They playing this role that didn't really. I don't know how much it even existed. Kind of because for where we were at. He's a transition. He's part of the transition, I guess. For I feel like Amen and Asar, and even going back to Lonzo, there's so much of this kind of diet Jason Kidd or kind of in their games, but Russell's kind of in the middle there. Russell's in the middle of being drafted in 08, and just crazy to get to the end of his career to see him kind of in this role of if you had came in 98, 99, maybe you would have they would have geared you towards trying to make you like Jason Kidd, trying to make you like this guy we're valuing you, nobody's looking for. I guess that's the thing about Russell and Curry and Harden's era. After they hit their primes, guards are now high level production, high level scoring, high touches and shit like that, never before. And saying it's crazy, crazy. Russ's career gets to the end, and we're seeing a whole wave. I feel like we're seeing a wave of a lot of point guards who, if they're not scorers, then they've got to be this 6'4", 6'5" athletic defender who just goes out there, plays hard, and makes plays all night long. It's damn.
Another interesting for them, because I think the funny thing about the Westbrook thing is that it seemed like it first unlocked. That's why I'm somewhat hopeful. Is it seemed to unlock with when Harden and Westbrook played together in Houston. They stopped playing Capella. They stopped starting Capella.
Yeah,
that's where it seemed to kind of really open up. That clicked in his head what he can be out there in a space like that. But
he was always positionless too. That's the thing. I feel like that was probably the Houston click thing. It was just the value of the rest is he can be one of the best point guards in the league, maybe one of the best point guards ever. It's this dude doesn't really need a position when he's out there though. It's probably the first time you really see that is somebody actually NBA evolving to that place, and Houston being that type of team that's just we're gonna go full small, and he's gonna be probably our best rebounder on the court, if not the second best rebounder on the court. And what we can do with pace and space when your roster's when the lineups like that is a lot more. But my bad. But
no, you're good. That's the one thing with Harden coming in is just how it's gonna affect Russ. the Paul George one, just Paul George kind of been hooping and kind of like just probably one of the first times Paul George was like, oh man, do I want to take the ball out of his hands actually?
Yeah.
Right now, because I think 35 tonight.
Podcast Pete.
29 a game. He's shooting 50% from the field, 56% from the field, 51% from three. And this is 4 games, but still 6 free throw attempts and 93 from the line. It's just, I don't know, but he has like Paul George has these moments when Paul George plays like when he's on, he can be.
Yeah.
But, part of it's like this is a lot of talent. These niggas might actually end up being really good, but it's gonna be really weird to see how it all meshes together, I guess.
I'm trying to see Booker need to come back, and I'm trying to see them play.
Yeah.
Paul George said, and all he said, he about to be on his bully shit this season. Him and Booker had a back and forth.
Okay. Okay. Those two dudes who they're interesting when they start opening their mouths to say some shit. Still remember Booker was the one bitching about being double teamed in pickup.
That was funny.
Never gonna drop, and he was chirping when he dropped 70 in the L. So Booker's had some interesting moments. Best player, best American.
Hoop. That's the thing. He's being held back by the rest of the country. Needs to have the confidence of Devin Booker. That's what it is. I'll just say back to the rest thing. Just I guess hear you explain it. Even just like I guess it's the ironic. This all comes back around to just James Harden is going to be the 6th man and Russell Westbrook's going to be the starter, and they're going to have 2 wings that probably they work better next to. Than ironically they like the one wing Kevin Durant, the generational talent. It's just like end of their careers we get to this point and Russ comes back to Russ is still the starting point guard. Like kind of just finally crash landed into this place just in time, and Harden's going to stumble over, and you figure after all this time we've watched him since Harden's left OKC, he is a lead ball handler, and he can do it in a bunch, and he's shown us a bunch of different ways he can do that too. But trying to get the ironic part of getting back to this point, and it's James Harden's back to 6th man. James Harden, which it wouldn't be bad. Like he'd be really. I don't know. I feel like Russ's game's unlocking already. I feel like James's game would unlock because he's still above that role. I feel like he's still at where he's at. If he's in shape, like he's well above that role, and he's gonna play. He's gonna be excellent in it. And then whenever somebody goes down, James is ready to step in, kind of thing. But
it'll be interesting to see what they end up looking like.
Who y'all think will end up higher on the all-time list? What are Westbrook and Kyrie career? Russ.
Unless Kyrie starts playing. That's like the next 5 years of Kyrie's career is playing every game. Or like playing like 65, 70 plus games a year. Russ got so much, I don't know.
This is where I feel like that thing you bring up is a little more interesting with these two. The Wiggins Kawhi thing is funny. I feel like Russ is really running it up crazy, not like bad way, he's just one of the greatest point guards ever, and just production wise, this is just this is one of the many miracles probably of just the amount of superstar talents from this era, but. Kyrie just probably got to just drop in 2-3 more game winners. I can see Kyrie just playing until 38, 39, and he's just going to be I don't know. Especially I feel like once Kyrie doesn't need starter minutes or starter level minutes, if he ever gets to that point, and he's just Kyrie loves basketball, he's just dropping in, trying to find a contender to play on, he's just going to have really special moments. Like you said, Kyrie has one of the biggest shots and one of the most televised, one of the most watched basketball games ever, and I feel like he can do that. He can do that again for pretty much another 9. He could have that happen once or two more times in the next 9 or 10 years if he and it's really just a matter of getting lucky. I think just picking the right place to go, or Dallas just being legitimate. But I don't think that
Dallas they played again today.
Jason Kidd's not going to win a championship.
And
the
Denver
coach
lost, only undefeated team left in the West. And we get Luka versus Jokic on Friday. I'm pretty sure.
Jokic's gonna lose that too, just because he's annoyed.
How much did Luka have today?
Let's see. It's too easy at this point.
He didn't go crazy. Grant Williams led them in scoring today, so he played the Bulls too. You ain't gotta score a crazy rest to beat the Bulls.
Yeah, I turned that off real quick.
Oh yeah, he kind of struggled. 18, 10, and 7.
That's that Caruso. That's it. Market. Somebody needs to trade for Caruso.
Yeah, he's really wasting over, man. He's such a necessary piece.
This man is coming off the bench in Chicago. Off the bench.
We were supposed to have it. They did it. We were in summer league. and Alex Caruso holding up the Summer League championship, and Lonzo Ball in street clothes holding up the Summer League MVP, and they got back together, and they were fucking wreaking havoc on defense in Chicago, or just never. That sucks, man.
Yeah. Do kind of feel bad for them. I feel like they did a lot of missing, but they took a lot of big swings, I think, to put that team together, and it did seem like it was that, especially that pandemic, that first year after the pandemic, it was going well even through the injuries and the COVID. They just kept, that was like DeRozan was hitting all the game winners that year. It's like,
that's because the ones that was getting hurt was Vucevic and DeRozan that year.
Yeah, before it became so and Caruso. I feel bad for him. It's like, I just really don't like this team, but this team is missing probably like. Yeah, it's hard to say that Lonzo and Caruso are more important, so I'll say they're at least just as important as DeRozan and Levine or anybody on their roster. Like, yeah.
The team was holding up and winning games without their two leading scorers. It was those three guys.
That's a defensive team that doesn't have its best defenders. Or doesn't have one of its best defenders.
That was you who said it on the pod yesterday, right? Lonzo gonna get his. He gonna get his.
Lonzo, Sean Livingston type of return.
Bless it.
Come on to Golden State.
Bless it.
Come on.
You go to Washington first, like Sean did. Prove yourself, and then you slide over to. Wait, where did?
It was Brooklyn and Washington.
Sean came back, man.
He was on the Bobcats for a minute too.
Yeah, that was the first comeback.
Dark NBA days.
Lonzo. You can always get back into this league with the Charlotte Hornets, the Charlotte Bobcats. You feel me? They always gonna have a spot.
No, they need to stay away. Get LaMelo out of Charlotte too. Man, we ain't doing it.
I mean, that's how you get back in. I would say if it feels bad, it feels ugly. That's what I say. Sean really got reps with 3 of the worst Eastern Conference teams. It's just like, give me the ball. I'm gonna bucket. Like y'all gonna have to give me the ball by the end of this season because like this bad organizations don't know how to put good teams together. But I feel like Lonzo's a little different. He got to go somewhere where he can really shine. But that was the shit with Sean, I guess, just going to work in the Eastern Conference and then right to the perfect Western Conference contender, who was just like, oh yeah, we'll lose you. The thing you've been doing for Brooklyn as the 3rd leading scorer, you can come be like the 6th or 7th leading scorer. And we'll give you the same touches in the same spot.
It's gonna land with Oklahoma City Thunder. I think
that's tough. Yeah.
That's the equivalent.
Yeah, we'll love him in Golden State, though, if he makes that, if the bounce back right. He getting his bounce back. Lonzo's getting this. He's young.
Pelicans put out a good win against the Thunder, so I just made me think of that. Pelicans put out a good win against the Thunder today.
Oh, they won?
Yeah, they came back. I felt like the Thunder would look dominant the first, 10 minutes of, or really, probably first 20 minutes of that game. Maybe closer to, quarter and a half. And then, the Hornets made it close, and then they pulled away with it. But I don't know. No Ingram last 2 games against 2 of the best teams in the West, coming out 1-1.
Dang.
What Zion did?
Zion was interesting. Nothing to write home about. He still has those moments where he's anybody. 20 and 10 still for a rough night. CJ had a big night. CJ with the 11 rebounds. Guard rebound.
Damn.
What? Oh, I saw that 11. And I was like, you don't pass like that anyway. So.
6 on the 1 turn a little bit. He never don't pass like that.
11 to 6.
Yeah, no.
But Jordan Hawkins. Okay, that's his name. New Orleans and Memphis be having dudes pop up.
I feel like the Dyson Daniels dude was funny. Just seemed like, just got a random guy to try to guard Steph all night. He had a decent night at it too. Really started in Steph's me. Where we at? Any other thoughts? League's in a fun place, man. I really want to see. Any playing tournament thoughts? First games on Friday.
Let me see the schedule.
Let's see. What's our playing schedule? Anything fun tomorrow? Playing a lot of games for a Thursday.
Spurs.
Oh, they're more windy. Running it back.
Rematch. KD.
KD. MVP. Nice. That's Friday or that's tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
So playing begins all these games are technically, I keep saying playing, I'm sorry, in-season tournament.
In-season
In-season
stuff.
tournament. Cavs, Pacers, you got, again, we're getting a lot more Knicks. We had this conversation yesterday about how we're getting a lot of Knicks, and we're just going to continue to get a lot of Knicks with the plan, because I think Boston and Milwaukee are in the group.
Yeah. No, Milwaukee, New York is Boston's group is trash. I remember that. Boston's like with Brooklyn, Toronto. Brooklyn's like the best team. Brooklyn, Toronto, and then I think somebody else that's not good.
Warriors Thunder is going to be fun. That's going to be an interesting matchup for the Warriors. I kind of want to see. This is a good one to probably hone in on, because the Thunder have looked, besides the end of the game or the second half of the day, they looked really good, and I want to see. How that matchup goes, because
that's gonna be fun.
Chet's probably the biggest weakness is like just he's small at the rim. Their biggest weakness is they started a pretty skinny dude at center, but I don't know. Warriors just play short dudes at center, so I don't know how much it's gonna matter.
Another year, I feel like this is when I start tracking how J-Dub plays against the Warriors. I feel like to really see how high I think his potential is. See just how he impacts the game. I feel like versus Steph Curry and Draymond. It's a pretty good one.
What else we got?
That should be the national TV, not like Warriors bias, but that Knicks Bucks.
The only reason, no, they should have done 5-7:30. The only reason you can't really get away with the 7:30 game in either of these places.
Oh yeah.
You could. You was making them niggas start at like 9:30.
Yeah.
Maybe 7, maybe 8:30 in Denver. But I get this because it's time. 4-1, 5-0.
That's gonna be fun.
Or 4-0, can't remember, but.
That's the first. I feel like we talked a lot about on the last one again. We talked a lot about Curry. Just wanting to see the Curry-Jokic matchup in the playoffs and just what two offensive forces look like. But that's going to be a fun early season to see Luka and the Mavericks off to a nice start versus this Denver team and those two offensive forces going at it. Let's see. But yeah, that similar kind of thing though. I feel like Denver ain't got nothing for Luka, so just want to see how that game goes for them. It's so great. Denver's such a crazy team. I feel like it's just such a crazy championship team.
Be a good test. I want to see how much what Dallas has put together. See how much better. Have they really been able to replace Dorian Finney-Smith?
Yeah.
This is a good test to see if they can defend decent. In that one, just because I see them in front, dude. Y'all think the Grizzlies season is over? You think they lost again? They haven't won yet. Is there going to be a bounce back here when Ja comes back? It's the West and it's tough.
Yeah, I know that.
0-5 is hard to bounce back from.
Yeah, tough bounce back. 25 games or 20 more games?
Yeah, 20 more games without Ja. No Adams for the season and no timetable, I think, on when Bane's going to be back.
Bane's out now?
Bane's been out. Not Bane, I'm sorry.
Oh, Marcus. No.
Nah, Clark.
Clark, yeah, Clark.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought Bane been out there.
Nah, Bane been out there. Yeah, that's all bad.
Yeah.
I really thought they was gonna be able to hold their own. I thought Steven Adams was gonna be playing, but still, I didn't think it could get this bad.
Yeah, I feel like see it with Boston. I guess they didn't really track all those moves. I feel like I was not paying as much attention during the offseason, and now just seeing the outcome of the rosters and this first start to the season. But Boston and Memphis, I guess, were two teams I was curious about because I believed in both of their continuity, and I'm seeing Boston. I think even though things have shaken up, like they've shaken up the foundation, that they're fine, like they're gonna be fine. And Memphis, who I think I had a little more belief in that kind of continuity and the consistency of their defense over the last couple of years. I felt like it's crazy to see. I guess I think that the baseline that they've had just has sort of trickled away, and I don't think you can attribute it to one name as much as it's like. I would even throw in somebody like Melton, like to go from the Melton, Brooks, and Adams all being on the team, like where they were 2 years ago to like where they are now. It doesn't feel like the same thing. It does feel like they're in a transition now, as opposed to where it felt like they can win through slight roster adjustments because they have a good base, a good defense, and a good base. But now, it feels. I wonder if there was. I wonder how important Dylan actually was, kind of to be honest, just because they're a young team. Like it just seems like he was really a part of that Ja, Desmond, Jaren group. But yeah, and to see them kind of see them without Ja and without Dylan at the same time, it's like Jaren doesn't look. I have a lot of high hopes for Jaren Jackson, so I feels pretty let down to think to start the season. But
so they don't, and not having ties too. I think
that's another one.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that was my thing when me and Dwight were talking about the off season, just replacing. I thought Smart could replace Tyus or Smart could replace Brooks, but asking him to replace both feels like kind of a lot. And kind of having just no Ja. It's like it's kind of the Tyus job, right? Being the point guard while Ja's not there is part of like the filling in for what Tyus did for the team, and just again having to do that and be important to the defense in a way Dylan Brooks is just, especially because Dylan Brooks is probably a better on the ball defender. Like Marcus's value is probably like, not that it's not there, but also Jaren doesn't like Jaren's value is that he kind of does all of that shit. Yeah. So the rest of the team can just kind of focus on locking up, and Dylan Brooks is probably just a man-to-man at this point, better defender than Marcus. So it's a lot on his plate, and seeing what it looks like.
A lot of little shifts that turns into a lot. But I still say with them, I guess the last thing I say, because I can't write them off. I feel like after a weekend, still. Like, yeah, good defense. Like, this is a team that proved they can just be good at defense, and I still see really good defenders on it. And I guess, I think when Ja comes back, I guess, even though as bad as it probably can look, if it doesn't look the absolute worst, I see that defense can still pull them out. Even to hear you kind of explain and to just talk it out a little bit, of just the idea of what Marcus and I think Derrick Rose, like what they look like next to Ja is a lot different, and it's like we're feeling the most effect probably of that right now. Like, the role of losing Ja and Tyus, you're feeling that. But Marcus and Derrick are good pickups if you can see them next to Ja. Now no slight to them. You wanted and need a lot more from them until Ja comes back. But you're asking more. You're asking way too much of them. So maybe when Ja comes back, like just it solves a lot, and Marcus and Derrick can settle into a smaller role. Marcus and Jaren can establish kind of a night-to-night defense that I think that they've been able to establish with other roster variations. But the West is the West too. I feel like this probably see where they're at a week and a half from now, whatever that record is, and just kind of know that any of the good teams in the West can have a stretch like that. Like can have a 2-7 stretch, can have a 3-9 or 3-8, 2-7 stretch. Have a bad 10-game stretch. So if you can put together a couple of good ones once your defense is right, you might be able to jump on some people. But I don't think anybody's gonna separate either. I don't think anybody but Denver can separate in the West. I just don't believe Dallas is off to a good start. I probably slept on them and didn't say they could be the 1 seed, but they can be the 1 seed. But I still don't see them as like having a big gap on the rest of the West if they are.
I see a top 10 building though. I think that's the thing. As much as it's not gonna be, I think it's gonna be jumbled up, like you're saying, besides up top. I think we're gonna quickly get to a point where that 11, I think maybe Utah was on, but I do think Memphis just got to get the work done quick, because I do think that that group all the way through the 11th seed or 12th seed maybe is gonna 11th seed at least, like there's nobody there is falling off, and if there is, it's Minnesota.
Yeah,
and that's still like that still doesn't get you in the plan. Being better than Minnesota still doesn't get you into the playing probably.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I'm starting to get nervous just because there's so many games I have to make up. But with Ja, like you're saying,
it's definitely have to find something before this 25 games is over. Like, they can't. Just if they're the worst team in the West, or if they're in that bottom 3, I guess if they're not at least 11 or at least 5, like round 11 when Ja gets back, then
Sacramento or not Sacramento,
Minnesota. If you're not at least hunting around Minnesota, Oh, Minnesota.
What else we got? Man, it's been a good first week, man. I think the basketball's been good. That's been the dopest part, I think, to jump in and see the products really at a level it feels like it hasn't. Just the West is good. It's nice when the West is good. I feel like there's games to watch. I feel like even today with the Clippers-Lakers game, it was just Kawhi playing. It was everybody out there. Kawhi was out there. Paul George was out there. LeBron was out there. AD was out there. And I wonder, it's weird because you can say Russ too, because Russ was on the Lakers last year in this scenario. But I wonder how often when those two teams played last year, all 5 of those guys actually played. Yeah, so it's dope, man. Hopefully it keeps up. We'll see. Kawhi played 41 minutes in a back-to-back.
What the hell going on over there? Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Doesn't even seem like good strategy. Well, it's overtime.
Yeah, they went to OT. Yeah.
I mean, but still, that's only 5 minutes, man.
Still.
Back-to-back. So, no, it's been cool, man. I'm ready to see the playing tournament, or the NCAA tournament's going to be interesting. It's not going to affect how we care. I do want to see at the end. I want to see once we get to the 4th, like everybody's around their last game, like the last week of November.
Yeah.
I want to see like the teams like, oh, if we win, we're in. If we don't win, we're not. And I want to see if they take that game a little more seriously. And I think once we get to the tournament in December, I think they're going to take it seriously. We'll see.
I think us playing OKC first is good. I feel like it's a good game for competition. I feel like it could have that thing of starting off, like a couple of good start-off matchups, or teams first or second matchup is good.
There's a lot of good teams in the West, so it's kind of it's really just we're gonna get. There's no way to not get a lot of good Western Conference basketball because it's always there, especially like we're back this year. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Like it has something else on it, I guess. But yeah, no, it's cool. Like we kind of know. It's like we're gonna get to see the Warriors play the Thunder, Wemby, and the Kings one more time over this next month. It's games to look forward to. They haven't played the Spurs yet, right? Just that preseason game.
Yeah,
that's going to be a fun one. Yeah, just want to see what happens actually.
Yeah.
Anything else? Appreciate y'all checking in the Rocky List. If I go to another one to get into.
Your tears.
Tears. I feel like they're old now. That's
like
2 days.
West.
Has anything changed? Denver still champions here. Warriors, man. Yeah, I think this is probably the same, right? I think I was hesitant to put the Thunder and Pelicans above the Suns and Kings. I feel like I'd be a little more confident now, just because we're both those teams that Thunder losing today. I mean, they played each other, so somebody was taking it out. But I feel really good about these two teams, about the Thunder and the Pelicans and their ability to jump up a little higher. I think that's my Lakers getting the win today was good. I still don't know what to think about either one of those teams right now. The Lakers are still, it's a lot of D-Lo. It's weird that they got, not weird, it's good. They're a good team that got really far last year, but it's kind of crazy to look back at how now when I look at their team, because it's just a lot of, like, nobody's, I don't know how to say, I mean, D-Lo's just clearly the third best player right now. That's probably the best way to say it.
It's a funny team.
I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know anything else.
They make sense together, though. I feel like just the Lakers Clippers throughout the season. I feel like it'll just be just whatever the up and down is. It'll be very specific to to those two.
I guess that's a question. If we want to jump East Coast, like any. I guess the Raptors make more sense to worry about. I think that actually won today. No.
Who they beat somebody?
Yeah, they beat Milwaukee. Milwaukee got blown out.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
That's a question here. Anybody? That's what we have to talk about. Is anybody worried about Milwaukee? Milwaukee won that first game, and then they got blown out the next day, and they got blown out again today. And
that was 2 straight.
Middleton doesn't play more than 20 minutes a night.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I mean, he's coming back from.
Still coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like just realized more than the Dame addition, I think Adrian Griffin, just first time coach, first time kind of thing. Maybe be interested to see just where they're at kind of halfway into the season. So I had told you about the funny where Giannis, I feel like that was the first or second game where Giannis like goes to check out, and before they even start play again, like he convinced Adrian Griffin to let him go back into the game. And I just kind of realized like, oh, Adrian Griffin, like I remember this guy, and also like, oh, this is like first time head coaching, kind of a pretty big, kind of pretty pressure filled job with where Milwaukee's at. So yeah, I feel like for them probably just see where the Dame Giannis and also the Dame Giannis Adrian Griffin, I guess, kind of thing is at Christmas, I guess, is with them. But I feel like for them it's just maintaining, I guess. I've seen Milwaukee be kind of average at times in the past and get through the season, and then like when they go crazy, they kind of just go crazy. But yeah, I would say by Christmas I think we'll be able to see if Adrian can get out of this roster what I think Bud could pretty consistently get out of in the regular season, was just like a couple of just really solid stretches where you're the most dominant team or close to the best team in basketball. But that probably won't happen at the first month for a first-time coach. That's a little scary with them. What the East tier again?
Damn sure we're at 24 and 11.
Ooh. Wow, what is going on in Toronto? That roster's funny.
Don't understand. So yeah, I had Celtics and Bucks up there, and this is before the Bucks. I think it was before the last two times the Bucks have lost. Sixers again, just I don't know. They look good, and it's been without Harden, and they're still without Harden. I want to see how they use whoever they got.
Who they got?
Everybody they got is really good.
Oh yeah, they got Batum, Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco and Batum. I want to see how they're used. And then yeah, Magic kind of struggled when Magic came to LA. Magic looked good to start, then they came to LA and lost 2 straight. Paolo's kind of been struggling. Detroit's technically under 500 now, but the Pacers, I don't know what y'all got to see Halliburton in that.
They got popped today.
Yeah, Tyrese didn't play today.
Oh, he didn't play?
Yeah. Boston.
Boston. That's the only 2 losses though, right? They got blown out by Boston twice.
I think it was Boston. Yeah, I think they lost to Boston. I can't remember. But yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, that tier there. Indiana, Detroit, Orlando in the middle there. And then
I feel like so much has happened since Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday before the games. I feel like the Cavs and Knicks have played each other twice, or they're about to play each other tomorrow.
Yeah. I feel like I still kind of believe, still pretty solid believe in the Cleveland team, despite, I don't know, what they won 1 game or 2 games? Cavs.
Oh, somebody, you take Chet Holmgren or Evan Mobley right now.
I just really like Chet's game.
He really got a jumper. Like, he's not like a big man taking threes. Like, oh no, he can.
Yeah, no.
Who, Mobley or Chet? Chet.
Yeah, that's Mobley's kind of issue. Doesn't it? It's there for him. I believe it's gonna come together. He had a good game in the game nobody else played.
Yeah.
In the L,
but now Chet feels more like a kind of facilitator. Like he can be growing to kind of. Not like I think a lot of assists, but I feel like just kind of directing the offense from the top of the key and the shooting ability combination is just different. Going to be much the upside on his offense is much different than what Mobley's is. It just makes it tough.
Yeah, I think there's a chance. I keep going back to the West because it's just a more interesting conference, but I think there's a chance that people are going to be. What are these veteran teams going to feel like? The one that has to play the Thunder in the first round.
Nobody's gonna want that. I feel like.
And kind of as a secondary question, how does the team that maybe has to play against Zion in the first round feel? I feel like you're more scared of Shea and just what that Thunder team is.
Yeah, I'm more scared of the Thunder as a team. It's tough. I still feel like, I guess, when I really look at the Thunder, I don't think they're. I would have to see where they're at by the end of the year to see how much they progress, but I would guess that they're still not really ready to do anything past push one of these teams in the first round, like push one of these good teams in the first round, but not actually win the series. Whereas the Pelicans, I feel like they're even further away, maybe because of how much injuries they've dealt with. But the Pelicans is the one where that team's fully healthy walking into the playoffs. Like, that's just a really scary team that I think can actually beat anybody in a series. They're pretty there. I feel like to be seeing Jose and who else is hurt? Trey Murphy are both hurt right now. Yeah, just to think about, I think Ingram's out now too, which is, again, it seems like the Pelicans are dealing with the same problems the kind of the Pelicans have been dealing with. But the perfect world where that team has everybody, or close to everybody at 100%, not just Zion and Ingram, but I think, what Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Jose, that's going to be a really tough team on both ends of the floor and going to make a really tough series. So I think the Pelicans have actually a more legitimate shot of upsetting, but I think it's less chance that we're gonna see that. Like we're gonna see enough of this Pelicans team get that full chemistry with the full roster because anything they get is gonna be better than the last couple of years. But yeah, you need a little bit more in order to be ready to do something in the playoffs. And Thunder just 1 year. I feel like that's like a 1 year away from like making that real noise. I feel like same probably way that OKC team was in with KD, Russ, and Harden. And just lost to LA that first year, but it was a fun series. And then the next year they were in the conference finals.
West is gonna be fun. Yeah.
Thunder.
Y'all have? I guess that's probably good if we could probably end with that in the East. Or
Oh.
Boston. Just is the East just Boston's at this point? Like I don't.
Yeah, unless the Bucks figure it out, but I think it's
No, yeah, I can't say it's just Boston because I still want to see Boston.
looking at these
Two teams. I mean, it's still because I'm looking at team that I want to fall off in that ambulance tier, Miami, but that team is always going to be a factor versus Boston in the playoffs if they get there, and then Milwaukee. I feel like it's just still like the series is a toss-up, and Mike Bud being gone just makes it a little more interesting to like wherever the Bucks end up kind of at the end of the year going into the playoffs. It won't be with Mike Bud. No offense to Mike. He's a really good really good coach, one of the best coaches one of the best coaches, one of the most successful coaches the last 5-6 years in the NBA. But I think the playoff limitations and strategy I think kind of came to a head. So it would be interested to see Giannis, Dame versus this Boston team with the thing that I feel like the thing that maybe held them back versus Boston out the way. So we'll see. Yeah, I was like, because Milwaukee obviously still feel like that series is a toss up because I still don't trust Boston especially after kind of last year their playoff run was weird last year.
Boston.
Yeah. But same kind of issues I have with Boston. I always have with Boston. Whether it's them losing in the conference finals or them losing in the finals, I guess I think it'll come down to being able to take care of the ball in the fourth quarter. I think it'll come down to the clash of flaws, which I think Drew kind of compound. Like Drew's a great player that is a good pickup, but also kind of compounds the flaws that I think Boston already had, which is like I don't look at Jalen, Jason, and Drew as the team to close out, to take care of the ball versus a great defense in the fourth quarter of the playoffs over the course of a 7-game series. I think they could struggle with that, and probably a lot on Derek White to be kind of the best ball handler in the group. But Milwaukee's there with them for me. Other than that, though, I feel like Philly's out of there now for me. Like I don't consider them after kind of even last year. I don't consider them as in the top tier of contender in the East. I think they're at least one. They're one group. They're always one group below that top group.
Yeah, Joel's gotta show me something before I can believe it. All right, anything else? We good to wrap?
Yeah.
All right, man. So you have been listening to The Garage, the flagship show of N.B.H Sports. I would like to thank my co-host for joining me tonight and ask you both to please let the people know where they can find you online.
Instagram _JBash, TikTok JBash47, and YouTube JBash Music.
You can find me on YouTube, Doom and Wonder, Doom and sign Wonder, and you can find me on Instagram at DanielDoom_.
Go by Mike. I spell that M1KE. It's Mike with a 1, M1KE. You can find me on YouTube at Trash Mike. That's again Mike with a 1 at Trash Mike, M1KE. Thank you all for listening to The Garage, an NBA live show and a podcast you can find on Spotify, Apple, or really wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow the show on TikTok and on YouTube at N.B.H Network. We will be back probably around weekend time. We're thinking weekend and beginning of next week. We'll be back with another one. Trying to come to y'all at least once a week this year. But until then, remember, it all started with a basketball. Peace.